Hi everyone and welcome back. Today we are going to be talking about a little trip we took to the Farne Islands in Northumberland in the UK. Although we're back in Australia now, both Mark and I made a trip back to the UK to visit family. I thought, well, while we're there, let's set about photographing puffins on the Farne Islands. Now, this is not the first time you've done this. You've done this a number of times, haven't you?
It's actually my third trip of 2017 and 2018.
Yep.
The first time I went in 17 was in conjunction with a business trip that I was doing. The timing was not exactly perfect when I got there. I missed the last puffin by one day, I was told.
Okay.
So I resolved to go back the following year, at which time that was May, and they had just started breeding and setting up their nests on the island.
Right.
So the activity was a bit different to when you and I were out just a couple of weeks ago, which was peak feeding season. So we were able to capture the puffins at their optimum as far as fishing and feeding the young.
So this is, just to clarify, this is where your research comes into play, isn't it? Because you deliberately chose this time because it was the best time to photograph the puffins and get those iconic shots with the sand eels in their mouth, that
Very
sort of
much
thing.
so. Yes, yeah.
So, which so that people know is June to July, is that right?
Yeah, end of June is very much you're going to sort of see all the activity. And those islands, it's wonderful to see the puffins, but you've got kittiwakes, you've got guillemots, you've got razorbills, all with young. And even the Arctic terns that basically peck your head to shreds when you get off the boat. They've got their young right by the footpaths as well. So it's a very rare and unique place to be able to go to see nature at this time of year.
So what we did was we took, which is what you did in previous years, we took a boat trip out from, we were staying in a little town called Sea Houses. We took a boat trip out to the island. We used a company called Billy Shields, which was excellent. You're allowed 1 hour on the island so that they don't overcrowd the wildlife there. We had 1 hour to walk around the island. We loved it so much on the first day that we did the tour, we decided to rebook for 2 days later. And I'm very glad we did because the first day was very overcast.
It was, yeah.
It was thoroughly enjoyable, but as far as for photography was concerned, it was very overcast. Whereas the second day we had those bright
sunny day,
beautiful day. So,
and it makes a complete difference to the types of images that you're going to record as well.
It does, doesn't it? It does. Yeah. So talk me through, what gear did you use on this trip?
On the way out to the island, you're starting to see the birds after about 10 or 15 minutes. So I took two cameras, one to give myself a telephoto lens and one for a bit shorter where they're closer to the boat. So I had my Canon RP with my 800 mil on that. And I also had this R6 Mark II with the 100 to 400 with a 2x extender on and off as well. So they were my sort of go-to setups. When I got out to the island, as is evidenced by the fact we didn't even film ourselves because in that hour you're so focused on getting the images. I dropped down to one camera. I did try to use the 2x extender with the 100 to 400.
And how did you go with that?
Missed everything.
Okay.
Absolutely. Really didn't enjoy the birds move too fast.
Yeah, they are very quick, aren't they?
Yeah. So what astonished me, as you know, this camera is relatively new for me, is when I took the 2x off with this particular lens, and I did try a couple of other different focal lengths, this locked on to birds in flight.
Yeah.
The minute that I put the camera up to my eye, it already had the bird in focus.
Okay, so you found that was to be very, very good at locking on.
That's exactly right, yeah.
Okay.
So I would have liked a longer focal length, but that particular setup of the 100, 400 on the R6 Mark II with this tracking capability that body's got was astonishing.
Well, let's have a quick look at some of your favourite images here as we go through. So, this is obviously all of the puffins in flight as we're approaching the island, I'm guessing.
That was just to show, for anyone that hasn't been out the island, the volume of birds that you can expect to see. You're not just going out to see one or two birds and you've got to go hunting for them. They are literally walking under your feet.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, is that you are on a boardwalk around the island, and but I remember asking you before we went out there, how close can you get? And you said to me, Well, they're just there, and they really were, weren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, you could just get really good close-up shots of them wandering around. The real trick was the birds in flight, because they are very, very fast-moving, aren't they?
And again, that was the benefit of going back a second time, because they do actually, as they approach the island, have defined flight paths.
They do. Yes, they do.
And once you work out what that is,
Yep.
then the photography becomes a lot easier, a lot more successful.
And on the first day, it was about working out where those flight paths were. On the second day, it became very much for me working out where those flight paths were that also coincided with good light striking the birds, because we were there in the later afternoon. So it pays when you get there. You know, I know you've only got an hour, but to obviously, you're running around, you're trying to shoot everything you can, but to really just pay attention to where the light is at that time, so that you get the best shots possible.
So I'd say this shot was on the second day because the water is quite blue.
Yes, yeah. Now, this one here, you've got the puffin, the shot that everyone wants to get with the
sand
beak
eels.
fill, which is lovely. And again, I mean, this gives an indication of just how close you can actually get to the birds.
Yeah. I suspect with the setup that you're going to tell us that you were using, you had more success with the bird filling the frame than I did with the smaller lens that I was using. But what I do like here is the structure of the wings, the feather. You can almost see the skeletal aspects of the bird through the wing. The pose is nice with the wings outspread, etc.
Yep.
So that to me is an iconic shot that I had wanted to get. So
yes, indeed. Now, on this one, I see both of us were using the same shutter speed here. You're using 1/3200th of a second, and auto ISO, which, I mean, why not these days? But that fast shutter speed is just, you couldn't do without it when trying to photograph these fast-moving birds, could you?
No, and you're right about using the auto ISO. So just let that ride all the way through.
Yeah. No, that's fabulous. I did find, similar to you, that I was using that high shutter speed. I was using the 1/500 with a 1.4 times teleconverter on the R5 Mark II. Now, I cropped everything, as you'll see from some of my shots. I did have to crop everything in, but I did find that it was useful having that extra resolution to be able to bring the distance.
And how did you find the tracking capability on that? I mean, as you lifted it to your eye, was the bird already literally...
No, I wasn't as, and I dare say a lot of it would be practice, but I wasn't as
happy with as I was.
Infused as you were with yours, yeah. I mean, I think it does an excellent job. I think it's probably more down to the user. I was lucky, I did get a lot of nice shots. What I did find was, what I really enjoyed about it was the ability to shoot the 30 frames a second. Now, I've mentioned this in previous videos, I know, and I'm going to bore everyone with the same thing, but using the 30 frames per second meant that I was able to get things that I wouldn't otherwise have been able to get. Now, this is a sequence I'm just going to run through of a puffin taking off from the water, and as you can see, it's just 30 frames a second. You're capturing every droplet of water, and as the bird pumps and runs along the surface there, which I really enjoyed capturing this. It's a lovely sequence to get, I think, and I've got a hard drive full of.
So you're a dream customer for the manufacturers of memory cards.
I am, and hard drives. Yes, exactly right. So, but I did find that obviously this was a shot where the bird is moving laterally to me, and it locked on pretty well. There's only about 3 frames in there where it's just shifted to the sea behind.
Yep.
Otherwise, the rest of it, I've got no complaints. And that is with the 1.4 times teleconverter. So that's shooting at effectively 700 millimeters. My technique I found when shooting with the 1:5 and the 1.4 times teleconverter is when the bird was incoming, you start as wide as you can. Otherwise, it just wouldn't lock on at all.
Yeah.
Then, as you keep clicking away, you zoom in on the bird, and that's where I got my success. Trying to locate it at 700 millimeters is hard enough, but it would generally not focus as well, I found, and that again may just be me.
Did you have a second body with a different lens at any other time?
I did. I had the R5 with the 70-200, but I didn't really use it that much, to be honest with you. So. It was not used that much. It was mainly all 1:500 with the teleconverter. Now, this is a lovely shot of yours. I like the grouping here, and again, you've got the iconic shot of the puffin with the sand eels. I noticed here as well, this one you shot at 3200th of a second. This was the right way to do it, because although a lot of people will say you don't need that higher shutter speed, and I concur, you don't, I ended up doing this a lot too, because when I did drop my shutter speed down, I then forgot to raise it again when I'm shooting the birds in flight. And, I'll live with a little bit of grain, which I can always get rid of, rather than have blurry images.
Yeah, and it's a fair point. When you're on the island in that hour, you are constantly moving. You're constantly going from the ground to the sky. You don't really have a great deal of time to think about changing the settings in between shots, so you've just got to leave it on that one mode and just keep shooting.
Well, really, thank goodness you took some iPhone video of the island, because I intended to shoot some video and I got absolutely nothing, because it was just so much fun and there was just so much to photograph. I didn't have time to shoot video.
Peas in a pod, isn't it?
And the thing is, the hour you have goes so quickly, doesn't it? It really does fly past. Now, this is your favourite shot.
It is.
I think I can see why. This is lovely. I'm not an ornithologist, so what is...
That's a guillemot.
Right.
And that looks like a fish in its beak rather than the sand eels.
Yeah.
So you tend to find with the guillemots and even the razorbills, they come out of the water with one fish as opposed to a beak full of sand eels. So quite a different dietary, behavioural aspect, etc.
Yeah.
But if you go back a few months to when we were shooting birds with fish in their mouth down at Phillip Island, and we were struggling so much to get the focus, I'm really pleased with this. So having gone out to the Farne Islands for the third time to shoot puffins and say that my best shot is a guillemot is typical.
Half of the course.
But yeah, I like the pose flying low over the puffins who've got that soulful, slow look like it's just another bird.
And how did you find tracking? Your tracking was very good with the R5?
It locked on and stayed on. Yeah. So for I've got a whole range of images of this particular bird in flight, just like that particular shot out of the whole series.
And you were shooting at, because I was shooting at 30 frames a second. What were you shooting at?
Almost single shot.
Okay.
Almost.
Okay.
Yes. I wasn't on servo mode at all, really. So far more conservative with my memory card.
Yeah. I certainly filled mine many times over. But again, a lovely shot of the puffins coming into land. When they do come into land, their feet are so cute, aren't they? They just spread out and act like brakes, wing brakes.
And on many occasions, they actually come in vertical.
Yes.
So they have an interesting flight pattern.
Yeah.
And I don't care who they land on when they...
One thing I would say, which a lot of people don't realise, and I didn't realise so I got out there, is just how fast they are in the air. I mean, we were sort of moaning a couple of months ago about photographing swallows and how fast they are. Not as fast as swallows, but they certainly do zip along, don't they?
They do. I mean, they're akin to a duck in flight with a very rapid wing beat.
Yeah.
In fact, of all of the auk family of the birds on the islands, they've definitely got the fastest wing beat.
Yeah.
Very hard to track in flight.
Yes.
So it's nice when they do find their burrow and they come in, slow down, etc.
This is a lovely shot. Just as you mentioned, this is behind the foot of the bird here. That's the burrow. So the bird would come in and then go straight into its burrow.
Yeah, so every puffin has a unique burrow which they return to year after year. So pretty much the burrow that they're born in is the one that they will head back to.
So this was Reg. You'd seen him 3 years or 4 years ago.
Well, I didn't see him the first time because I'd missed by a
go. That's right.
But yeah, there was a lot of that activity. You would have got thousands of different puffins returning to their burrows. So, I can only imagine how much the young pufflings have to eat to sort of get ready to go out to sea for that first time. And now the islands are very diverse in terms of the different types of birds that you can see. So here's a black-headed gull with its chick.
Yep.
We also saw Arctic terns with their chicks, etc.
Yes.
There's eider ducks on the island with chicks. So it really is the peak time to go for all the birds and the breeding season. There's, unfortunately, nature being what it is, seagulls are out there too, raiding some of the nests and some of the burrows. So we did see a little bit of that, which is very sad when you see a bird's life being ended almost before it started, really.
Yes,
so.
Well, that's nature.
Nature,
that's the
it
thing.
is.
And this is why we were able to walk so close to these, because they're nesting right next to the boardwalk. This is why you have to wear a hat when you get off the boat, because they do dive bomb you and peck your head. So now on the way out to the island, I've got loads of photographs, so I didn't process any for this, but on the way out to the island, you do stop and see some grey seals, which is lovely, and they are just having a ball, aren't they? Just
Very
lying
relaxed,
around.
yeah. We were told a couple of weeks before we went out that the captain of the boat had sent a couple of orcas in the area take a seal. So compared to when I was there in the 2017, 2000, there was a lot less seals.
Yes.
So they're probably quite wary at the moment of predators.
Yes, yeah. So, and again, on the way out on the sea stacks, the cliffs, you've got these.
Yeah, so they're the black-legged kittiwakes.
Right.
And you can see from the image that they basically, on a sixpence, they make their nests and raise their chicks in virtually no space whatsoever.
Yeah.
So they're obviously part of the seagull family.
Yeah.
And it's very rare to see seagull chicks anywhere on land. They're usually fully grown, taking the chips out of your hands, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
So again, it was a privilege to be able to see that.
Yes.
These particular birds as well.
And I can confirm also that the smell and the noise was was certainly to be reckoned with.
Acrid, yes, it was. Yeah.
Now, this is a lovely shot you've got here of the three of them. They've all had a successful day fishing, which I like to see. That's lovely. We did actually wonder at one stage, there can't be any fish left, can there? Because there were so many of them coming back in.
The school of sand eels must get depleted on a daily basis. But there was a nice wall that you could just stand by, and often two or three would land. So this one's nice. So you've got the guillemot with a fish in its mouth in the background. Well, this puffin does, and they walk in a very odd, stiff, almost John Cleese.
Yes, it's almost Mr. Bean, isn't it?
That's right.
I love it. Yes, And one of the black-headed terns?
Arctic terns.
Arctic terns, okay, yeah. These are the ones that peck your head as you get off the boat.
So we were returning, you and I think we both shot the same bird. Firing off, and I think I was in servo mode with at this time here. So
yes, and the guys again on the all there. So that's lovely. So that's good. I mean, I had much the same feeling. I did shoot quite a few of the birds in flight, which I was quite happy with. These ones I've done as the birds are coming. Now, what I did here was I found where they were going to be coming into land, and I positioned myself there so that I got the light striking them, and that was the key to it. And I've got him in a couple of poses as he comes into, he or she comes into land there. Another shot I found just of the puffin beginning to take off from the water, and I love the sort of the footprints in the water, if you like, there. But really, it was more just a question of having fun with a long lens and just isolating the birds as they're flying. And that was really what I was spending my time doing. I liked this shot because I've got some reflection from the sea. Yes, the bird's slightly silhouetted, but I like the little sparkles behind him as he's feeding.
Do we call that bokeh?
We do. Yeah, we do. And again, coming in to approach the burrow. This one I liked because I've got a bird with a fish that's so big. I mean, it's
one that could take off.
Yeah, exactly. So
payload.
And again, more just as now this is where I'm finding that long reach really helps. You can really isolate the birds as they're turning in midair. What I was looking to do was get those interesting shots with the wings flared as much as possible.
So did you find you were doing much panning from the waist?
Yeah. I was doing a lot of panning and just keeping the finger on the button as I'm going. I did have pre-capture on as well, which gives you an extra half a second's worth of burst. At 3200th of a second, you're getting a lot of images as they move. And then I obviously just have to go through and cull them all.
So what size memory card were you using?
I was using a 512. I didn't fill it, but it did.
You tested it?
I tested it, yes, yeah. I mean, this is the thing. You're able to just get nice shots of the birds flying with different meals, if you like. But it was just a question of just keep that standing where you know the light's going to be and keep shooting. I didn't notice that much difference between lateral and as they're coming towards you. I didn't notice that much difference I don't think I had a higher hit rate one way or the other. I was using the image stabilizer. I was using the 3200th of a second. I just found it just worked pretty well. Once I got them in focus, it was getting them in focus first of all that was the
Because you're still getting used to the R5 aren't you?
I am, I am, yes. I still think the R5, which I'm recording this on, slightly more intuitive, but that might just be me. Yeah, I like this one because it was a fishing boat and two types of fishermen there. and just a squadron effect, if you like. So, and I actually preferred this one in in portrait rather than landscape. And again, this is as they're approaching their burrow. This is the beauty of it. You can get quite close to where they are flying in, can't you? So, and I liked that. It was good to do some without in their mouths as well. But what the other ones are like, this was I don't know what this is again. This is the guillemot. Guillemot. Okay, so I got a very close up of the guillemot. And then I got some close-ups of them actually sitting on the rock, the puffins.
It's fascinating to watch. They bring the eels back from obviously the ocean.
Yep.
And spend quite some time sitting down, either making sure that their burrow is safe from predators.
Yep.
But they do hold them in their beak for quite some time before they dispose of them.
They do, don't they? And yet sometimes they were being chased by the gulls, so it was strange. This one appears to have a little bit of salad that is brought back to accompany the main meal. And so it's just a question of getting them on the rocks there and just shooting away. But I mean, as you said to me before we went out there, they have such soulful eyes.
They do.
I love this shot.
That typifies that, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. So all in all, it was just a fabulous trip, wasn't it?
If you have any interest in natural history and birds in particular, and a diversity of bird types, the Farne Islands in Northumberland is a wonderful place to go. I mean, coming back off the islands, we were blessed with castles and landscapes, plenty of other things to do in that area. So it's not just a birding exercise.
It is a beautiful part of the country, isn't it? A beautiful part of the world. So, So we hope this has been of interest. If you have any questions or anything you'd like to know about our experience on the island, if you have a favourite shot, we'd love to hear what that is. If you have any experience using the teleconverters that we both did, again, we'd love to hear in the comments below your thoughts. Other than that,
thank you very much for watching. And if you'd like to subscribe and give us some comments and feedback, be very welcome.
And please do like the video if it's been useful to you. It really helps us and helps the algorithm so that we can make more videos of this type. So other than that, we look forward to seeing you in the next one.
Thank you.